What's up, YouTube? This is Roy,
And this is Joey.
and we're going to be doing the top 10 decks of the October 2014 format. Just a little bit of a disclaimer here. These are our personal opinions. If you don't like what's on here or your deck's not on here, too bad. Get over it. Anyways, at number 10, I have Hats. They can stall. They have General Destruction. Their extra deck, pretty good stuff. They can get to Abyss Dweller. A lot of stuff they can shut down your opponent. Overall, they're a pretty good deck.
My number 10 is also Hat. It's a really good stun deck. You can stop your opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You play a ton of traps, and your extra deck, you can set up everything with Evolval Chain and Dionea, and you can just make a bunch of generic rank 4s. And the only reason it's a number 10 for me is because it's just been power creeped by the last couple sets being released, and it's not as good against the more explosive decks of this format as compared to the last format, which was mainly just Girya and Hat.
At number 9, I have Modolche and Girya, Pure Girya, that is. They're basically rank 4 spam. They can make really huge boards if they play it right. Modolche, they can shuffle opponent's cards into the deck, non-targeting too. So they're really good. If you stop the first card, though, it's kind of bad. Otherwise, it'd be higher up. But overall, they're still a pretty good deck.
My number 9, I have Mermails and Girya. Girya is really similar. It's rank 4 spam. With the new support, it's a little better, but I don't think it moves up a whole lot with it. And then Mermails haven't been touched the last couple formats. They were good in the past. They're good forever. And they still have access to rank 7s and still have Lind and Gund and things like that. So, plus Sphere, which is a stupid card. But so Mermails, I still think are a solid deck, and then Girya are also pretty solid.
At number 8, I have Lightsworns. They have 3 Judgment Dragons. Can't go wrong there. I've seen them incorporated with other decks, so they get play elsewhere. They have Honest. Overall, pretty good deck. They can make big boards if they mill right.
My number 8 is Modolche for the reasons previously mentioned. It's pretty consistent. You can search for days. Angeli's busted card. Tiramisu doesn't target. That's about it.
At number 7, I have Sylvans. They're similar to Lightsworns, but I feel they're better than Lightsworns only because they can stack their deck. Their extra deck is amazing. You got Felgrand, Big Eye, Dracosack. It's ridiculous. You can pop monsters, pop back row. Soul Charge is amazing. Lone Fire Blossom is amazing. So Sylvans is a pretty good deck, and they're better than Lightsworns in my opinion.
I have Sylvans at 7 as well. As a Sylvan player, I like the deck because it can be really explosive. You can make some crazy boards with Soul Charges and Fertilizers. But you can brick super hard, and you just can't play when you draw things. And if your one excavate out, like if you draw hands where your only excavate outlet is stopped, you just have brick hands of Hermitries, and you just really can't do anything. That's why they're lower on this list. But they are on here because they can make some really great boards. They have access to 7s and 8s, which are both really good. So Sylvans are my number 7.
Alright, number 6. This may be a bit of a surprise, but this is my opinion. I have Karakuri. I also have Plants. Combo decks, basically, at number 6. They're built for speed. They have explosive playstyle. They can get big boards with protection. They can clog. They can have brick hands. But generally, most of the cards in there will give them a bonus. So, at number 6, I have Karakuri, Plants, any other combo-based deck that can get huge boards and fast.
Anyway, my number 6 is Lightsworn / Lightsworn Ruler, because that's the best version of the deck. It's kind of like Sylvans, where you have brick hands, but when you go off, they just can't do anything. Once you have the lights in your graveyard and you're banishing your Wyverns and have multiple Judgment Dragons and Dragon Rulers and Light Rays, and it just gets real. It's not the fastest, but once it gets going, there's just nothing you can do. There's certain games against Lightsworn where you just can't do anything because it's Lightsworn and Judgment Dragon's a card. So I have Lightsworns in the number 6.
All right, number 5, I have Yang Zings. It's a general stall deck. They can sit there. They work really well with Skill Drain. They can Synchro Summon on the opponent's turn. The extra deck, they can just access so many Synchros, and it's really good. Kind of slow, but I mean it's a stall deck, so they're at number 5 for me.
Yeah, I have Yang Zings as well, and I've played the deck, and Yazi's a really dumb card. Can't be targeted when you make it right. They can kill it with Exciton, Black Rose, and Tiramisu, and that's about the end of the list because you made it unaffected by spells and traps. Can't be destroyed by battle, and it can't be targeted. So that card really, really helps them. They are rather slow, but with the new tuner, if you open that, you can get some plays off pretty quick. And once you get the synchros out, it's if you get a synchro and a skill drain, they're going to be having a bad time because you're going to be generating so much advantage so quickly, and then skill drain's just hindering them. So Yang Zings, I think, are a really solid deck, but I don't think they're quite up in the top tier right now.
At number 4, I have Satellar Knights. They can search with the Neb. The extra deck is ridiculous, especially that the new one, Trevor, however the hell you say that. They can use Honest, and then not to mention the 20 plus traps they run. They can use Emptiness. It's ridiculous. Not to mention Alpha. It's just.
Yeah, I have Satellar Knights number 4. Trevor is a busted card. Doesn't target. Another way to get around the Yang Zings mentioned earlier, but they're super consistent. You have 6 Denebs because you have 3 Rotas. You can dump your Denebs with Nikolai, sends them to grave, and there's just so many ways to get around it. The only thing that kind of hurts them against the current meta is if you don't draw your traps, you just lose. Because if you draw monsters, you're supposed to search your monsters out of your deck so you can draw your traps. So if you draw monsters, you lose with Satellar Knights. But if you can get the engine going, get the monsters out of the deck, and just continuously draw traps, then your opponent's going to be having a bad time.
At number 3, I have Burning Abyss. The access to Virgil and Dante, not to mention their tuner is 2100 ass. Yeah. It's ridiculous. They all search out another one. I've seen builds with rank up, so you can get more access in the extra deck. I've seen Chaos builds, so of course you get BLS, Chaos Sorcerer, ridiculous cards. So Burning Abyss are really good, and they're floaters too. So number 3 for me.
So my number 3 is Shaddolls and Shaddol variants. I feel like Shaddolls and Burning Abyss are really close, but right now I feel like Shaddolls are not quite as good. I think they'll be better once they get their Water Fusion, because then they can run the Fire and Ice Hands, and they just have outs to, like, unless you shut off their graveyard, they have outs to a lot of things. Shaddol Fusion from the deck is fantastic. Dragon popping back row, they can do so many things. Synchro for good stuff. Winda shuts down decks. It's hard to get rid of Nephilim, and the new Earth Fusion's hard to get rid of too. So I have Shaddolls at number 3.
I agree with you on the fact that Shaddolls and Burning Abyss are really, really close to being about equal on the list. But I have them slightly above Burning Abyss at number 2 because they're cheaper than Burning Abyss. And the reason why that is a factor is if it's cheaper, more people are going to have access to it, which means you're going to have more people playing it, more people testing it out. So you're going to find the weaknesses and the strengths in the deck a lot better. And so you'll be able to make a better build, in theory at least. But Shaddolls are good because I've seen them with Artifacts, Lightsworns. Winda's an amazing card, Construct's an amazing card, and they're pretty much going to have a fusion for every attribute. So, I mean, they can run anything in there. They can run hands. So it's just, they're really, really good.
Alright, my number 2 is Burning Abyss, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, so first of all, Fire Lake is a really silly card. Destroy 2 of your floating monsters to pop 3 cards. Alright, that's a +2 most of the time. Alright, so despite the Fire Lake, you also have more names now, So that means when you special summon stuff, then you have more things you can special summon because you have more names. If you open up a tour guide, if you open up a tour guide in Fire Lake, you win because you tour guide into a thing, get a Dante, detach your thing, get a plus, special summon another one, make Virgil, and it gets really, really stupid. And the reason I have him higher now is because Virgil helps you break boards that you couldn't get rid of before because it spins cards. And Burning Abyss didn't have that before. They couldn't get rid of really powerful things. Dante only got up to 25, and you needed your battle phase to kill stuff. So I feel like they're better now because Virgil is a 2500 body all the time, and it gets rid of problems so easily, just spinning cards back, and you go plus off of it because you discard your Burning Abysses and generate more advantage, and it just snowballs, and plus you get to run your discard traps and things like that, which is just gravy at this point.
All right, at number 1 for me, shouldn't be a surprise, it's Clifford's. They can search galore. They have a searcher for their searcher, which searches. Not to mention they OTK. They can have protection. They work well with emptiness and skill drain. And it's just overall a good deck.
Yeah, I have Clifford's at number 1, and I feel like it's not just because the Cliffords aren't the main problem. It's the fact that they can main deck 3 skill drain and 3 emptiness. And if you equip the monster that's at 18 with your with this equip spell, I forget what it's called, but it puts up 21 with a skill drain and emptiness. Plus emptiness doesn't blow up if your things die because they go to the extra deck. So you just beat them down and they can't do anything because you have a skill drain and emptiness on the field, and you just lose because those cards are floodgates and they're a problem. Not to mention they can OTK with the pendulums, and once you fill their extra deck, if you manage to keep up with them if they don't draw skill drains and things like that, they just special summon everything, and if they play the build with the kitty trampoline, then they can make a bunch of stuff in the extra deck, and it's the best deck right now, and I don't think that's really competition.
Alright, that is it for the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.